As I was growing up, I watched like my dad hit my mum and everything, so I grew up in that sort of environment, like my dad being violent to my mum and everything. It really put me down, like it made me to be like a shy person. I would keep myself away from talking to people. My parents got divorced when I was 5. When the Love School event was announced, my mum had already bought the tickets for like me, my mum, my sister, and she got an extra one for the boyfriend that she had at the time. He didn't want to come, but she still bought the ticket for him. When I found out that my dad was moving here, I decided to get his ticket. So I said, there's an event coming up near where you live, and I bought your ticket for you to come with us. So then when I let my mum know, she was really, really angry because she wanted her ex-boyfriend to be there with her. From the moment that the Love School was announced, that was like the journey that started for my family. I walked in through the side doors and I saw how many people there was here, and I was so amazed how many people wanted to know to get better in their love lives, to better their relationship. So I was really amazed about how many people there was. And also when Miss Christiani and Mr. Renato came in, it was really amazing because what they spoke really spoke to me about my parents' relationship.
It seems that people who are married and having problems, they only see 2 options. Either we're gonna live in this miserable marriage for the rest of our lives, or we'll separate. Hey, there's a 3rd option. How about you focusing on solving the problems?
Well, I was sitting right here, my dad was sitting here, my mum was sitting here. When I got the ticket for my dad, she said to me, if you think that we're ever going to get back together, then forget it, because we're never going to get back together.
When you marry, you don't do what you set out to do. You know, you get married, you set out to be happy, to live a happy life, to make the other person happy. You marry with this dream in your head, but you end up not doing it, and instead you do what you have always learned, what you have always seen your parents do. You do what you know. And you never do what you don't know. So I didn't know how to deal with conflict in our marriage. I didn't know.
After the event, my dad started coming to the church that I was attending. He started understanding more about faith and everything. And my mum started to realize that maybe he was the right person for her, because she was also fighting for her love life. She wanted to have someone in her life, but she didn't accept it to be my dad.
People buy into this idea of Mr. Right, of Mrs. Right.
So she realized that maybe it was my dad, maybe God was putting my dad in her way. So she asked my dad if he was willing to take our family back. He said yes straight away. 10 years before, on my mum's birthday, my dad got arrested. So this year, on my mum's birthday, my dad proposed to her and gave her an engagement ring. After that, my mum and my dad started to go out more, started to go out for dinner and things like that to speak to each other more, to get to know each other better. So then, a few months after that, my parents got married. And on the day of the wedding, it was that was everything that I was waiting for.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. The program tonight is talking about drug addiction. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's a statistic that came out this month that says that Britain is the #1 capital, or not capital, but the #1 country for drug addiction. To me, it's not shocking, right? Because we see reports over the years, we see young people getting involved in drugs, and not just young people from deprived areas. It's something nationwide, from the poverty-stricken council estate, even to the middle classes. So it's not just the cocaine, it's not just the weed and the crack addicts, it's those pill poppers as well, right? So tonight's topic is about drug addiction, and we would like your opinions on this. We would like also, if you are going through any kind of drug addiction at all, whether it's cigarettes to the more serious, heavy stuff like heroin, crack cocaine, you know, you may be on prescription drugs and you don't know how to beat that. Well, I can tell you, there is a way out, you can. And tonight's testimony is evidence of that. She was addicted to drugs, and you're going to hear her story, how she beat it. All right, with me, I have Victoria. Good evening, Victoria.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So you got some stats. We're going to actually show a video, and then we'll be back with that in a few moments. So let's have a look at this video now on tonight's topic.
In September this year, Britain was named as the European capital of drug addiction, according to the Centre for Social Justice. The abuse of drugs and alcohol costs the nation a total of £36 billion annually. Drug abuse damages not only the economy, but also fuels poverty and deprivation, leading to family breakdown and child neglect. Also homelessness, crime, debt, and long-term unemployment. Cannabis has been linked to mental health problems such as schizophrenia, as well as affecting how your brain works, making learning and concentration difficult. Cocaine overstimulates the heart and nervous system, which can make users prone to heart attacks and overdose. People who inject cocaine are more likely to risk overdose and damage to veins and body tissues. Ecstasy has been linked to memory problems, depression and anxiety. In 2012, the total number of deaths due to drug misuse in England and Wales was 1,496, with 73% of these being due to poisoning or overdose. Around 1 in 12 adults take illegal drugs at least once a year, which is around 2.7 million people. With 300,000 people using the most problematic drugs, heroin and crack, but over half of these are in treatment. Drug misuse can be a complex issue, while the number of people with a serious problem is actually relatively small. Someone's substance misuse and dependency does affect everybody around them though. The NHS provides a number of services for drug support, but there are also a number of specialist drug facilities run by charities and private organisations. If you or someone you know has a drug addiction, then a good place to start is with your GP. However, if you're not comfortable going to your GP, then there are many drug treatment services that accept self-referrals. You can also find out about drug treatment services through NHS Choices or the Frank website. The National Treatment Agency for Substance Misuse have stated that more and more drug users are recovering. So there is help out there that works for even the most hardened drug addicts.
So you saw there in the report that drug addiction can affect other people as well as the drug addict itself. So I'm not just talking about you who may be addicted to drugs, but maybe you're watching this program and you have a family member, someone close to you, a friend who has a drug addiction and you don't know what to do. Maybe you're trying to find the support for them. Maybe you're supporting them, but there's only so much that you can do. Well, we're here to offer our help and advice and even prayer. As you will hear tonight's testimony, she beat her addiction to drugs with the help and support of not only prayer, but also people, positive people around her. Victoria, some stats. I mean, the video said things about it. So what would you like to add to that?
So the video did mention 1 in 12 adults will take illegal drugs in the course of 1 year. So that's on average about 2.7 million people. So it's pretty rife. And like we said, also England has been named the #1 drug capital, which is quite scary.
Yeah. And, you know, it's getting worse. As time goes by, it's getting worse. As young people experiment more, you know, as the economy, they say it's improving, but, you know, when it comes to poverty, when it comes to crime, you know, people are going to find ways to kind of forget their problems. And one of the outlets is drugs. Maybe it started off as fun for you, but now you are addicted. We would like to help you, okay? There's some information that you can contact us with if you like that. What's the information, Victoria?
So if you'd like to speak to somebody, then give us a call. The number is 020 7686 6300. We have people standing by right now to take your calls. Or if you'd like to contact us via email, then the email address is help@findinganswers.tv.
Thank you, Victoria. So we're going to go for the break now. And when we come back, you're going to meet tonight's testimony, true life testimony, someone who beat drug addictions.
If you don't have a relationship with yourself, if you don't know you, if you don't love yourself enough to invest time in, to take good care of, how can you do that to someone else? But people are doing that all the time.
You fail yourself, you reject yourself, you say bad things about yourself. You say, no, no one's ever gonna want me. That's why a lot of singles get rejected. Because they reject themselves. Because you think, I can't get any better. You know, I can't get anyone, so at least I have him, at least I have her. And that person will abuse you, will trample all over you because you don't respect yourself.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight our topic is drug addiction. So as usual, I've been out talking to the general public. This time I wanted to see how they felt about the treatment for prisoners. So for example, for drug addicts, should they be put into prison or should they be put into rehab? So my question was, how should people with a drug addiction be treated?
You know, there's no stereotype anymore.
Protect yourself, sometimes you probably do.
It will heal, but it will always...
They're humans, they have the ability to use their initiative.
Find it difficult to just be happy in this life.
Hi, I'm Victoria Edgecombe and tonight on Finding Answers our topic is drug addiction. So I've been asking the general public, how do you think that people with a drug addiction should be treated? How do you think people with a drug addiction should be treated?
Well, I think they should be treated with, you know, empathy and love as well, not just to be chastised or blamed, so that they feel that they're open to get help and not to be reclusive.
I believe that the root cause of the drug addiction starts before even a child is born. I mean, it's down to an average depleted serotonin level from things like not enough contact time with your mother or father or childhood abuse. So they actually, research shows they actually externalize their source of comfort, because on an average day they won't be getting enough serotonin to have contentment. So that means that some people have an inherent inclination towards substances, which makes them more indulgent. Now that's mainly an ethical problem and is down to the government and people as a society having more responsible parenting systems.
Not prison, but if they have a drug addiction, I think they probably need to go to some kind of facility that will help them.
And in order to put people in prison, well, I think that's a completely stupid idea, because first, on a moral level, it's wrong. I mean, it's a punitive measure. That's not what we should do with people with a medical problem. So if you've got a physical addiction or something, you shouldn't be punished because it's irrational. It's not something rational. A lot of people don't want to be on drugs. It doesn't make economic sense as well. So people go into prison and they come out better criminals and they learn violence. And it costs a lot of money for the government, for government spending. It takes a whole lot of money, and you have to put money in private prison corporations' pockets. So that puts a strain on the treasury. So it's mainly focusing on rehabilitative measures, which, like I said, is a lofty task. But I think the key here is prevention rather than trying to find a cure.
So what's your opinion? Should we help drug addicts or should we imprison them? Be good to hear your opinion. And if you want to give us a call, then you can do. The number's 0207 686 6300. Let's introduce now our guest for tonight. Her name is Rene Chance.
Pushed me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Rene, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, you're not nervous, are you?
Just a little bit, but I'm okay.
You'll be fine. So, as tonight's topic is drug addiction, you, like many others, have had a drug addiction. Yeah. And I say had because you've beaten it, right?
Yes.
So tell us, what was your drug addiction? What were you addicted to?
Weed, any form, Thai, skunk, pineapple, anything. I didn't have a preference of what I was smoking. Cigarettes, and it started, I was quite young when it started actually. I was around 15, 16.
Yeah. Now, how did you start smoking, getting into it in the first place?
Well, I got in my first relationship with my ex-boyfriend, and he happened to be a drug dealer.
At 16, 15?
15. And we was together for over 3 years, and we just started smoking together. So like, obviously he offered me a smoke. At first I was just like, no, I'm not going to, but then I ended up smoking. It used to be kind of our communication, like our relationship. It got to a bit of a point where I'd bunk off school, I'd spend some time with him, and then we'd end up having a smoke.
Now, let me ask, let's go back.
Yeah.
Did you start smoking because you had other problems in your life?
I had little problems in my life, nothing that will dramatically make me want to start smoking at that time when I started smoking. Little bit like too much homework or just stress of starting work and trying to balance everything.
But in terms of, say, family issues, or was there anything like that?
In reference to family issues, not really. As I've digged and really rooted the problem of my smoking, family factors do come into it. Like, I don't really have a strong relationship with my dad. So that kind of impacted of why I was always around my boyfriend all the time, because he was older than me, so he had that protection of me. So it was kind of like a father figure.
How much older?
2 years older than me, but he had lived. His background had made him more older than he actually was, in and out of jail and everything. So.
Okay, so you started smoking with him?
Yeah.
Now, I assume it was just for fun?
Just for fun, just to experience, to say I have something underneath my belt, and then like just to spend some time with him, really.
So why don't you think about going to the cinema, right? Or walk in the park? He was a drug addict and that was the first thing probably he offered to you.
No, we went on dates. We went like places. He showed me around, but we was very laid back. And I think the smoking increased the the fatigueness. Us being just relaxing, preferring to just watch a film inside, eat lots of food because you tend to get the munchies, as I call it, after we smoke. So that kind of happened to be our routine, really.
Right.
And it started off small, and then it started getting a bit too frequent.
Tell us about how it got worse for you.
Well, I used to smoke a lot, and I only used to smoke with him in his presence. It was kind of a bit, not controlling, but didn't like me smoking elsewhere. And so 1 spliff a day ended up to 3 spliffs a day, to the point where it's like my bunking increased, my grades began to drop. And it got to a point where even on school premises we could smoke. There was like an area of smokers. So
in school?
In school, in the back of my school, right. There used to be an area where all the smokers used to just hang out and smoke. So it really did start to have an impact on everything. I was becoming late for work. Again, my grades dropped. And I think one time, I do recall my worst time at that moment. I didn't smoke while I was with him. I had a spliff with a couple of my friends. Again, I didn't know what I was smoking. I wasn't really bothered. And it had a really bad effect on me. I started losing focus. I was on the street and I got really paranoid. And it's like I thought the world was coming to an end. I got really violent and I had no control whatsoever.
Tell us about that experience then. So you said you got paranoid, yeah, and you got violent.
Yeah.
What were you thinking of and what did you do?
I thought that the world was ending. I thought we was all going to die. I started screaming on the street, we're all going to die. I had no control. Everything was just a blur and dizzy. I was with one of my cousins, and she was just like, "Are you okay, Rene? Are you okay?" But I thought she was trying to attack me. So we was actually outside a police station, and I kind of physically gripped her up against the wall, and I was so close of just hitting her. And she is quite smaller than me, even though she's older than me. She's quite smaller than me, and I just lost my temper to the point where a family member had to come and pick me up, and the drive alone, I thought I was in Too Fast, Too Furious. I thought we was going at a speed that was beyond control, and my time was up.
Now, you said you were smoking at that point with other people.
Yeah.
Did anyone else have a reaction?
I walked off. I started feeling a bit paranoid because I had people around me, and obviously people are talking, there was music, so my mind was just in a different place.
So you don't know if the other people had a bad reaction to it?
I literally just walked off. I literally left the house and walked up the top of the road, and I didn't actually realise how far I had got. So in reference to everybody else, I spoke to people the day after, but everyone was just like, oh, we were just chilling. So
you mentioned that was the worst experience for you.
That was one of my worst experiences. That's when I did stop smoking for a bit. And then last year, I started smoking again, and it got really, really bad.
Just as recently as last year?
Yeah.
So it got worse?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you had a bad reaction. Maybe you want to end your life and you don't know how. Maybe you're thinking of taking an overdose of drugs, even alcohol, and maybe you feel suicidal. Maybe you've had this experience that Rene had, and yet you say, you know what, I never want to do that again. But you're going to hear in a few moments that Rene went back to it, and there was a chance that the same thing could happen. And maybe that's been your life. Over and over again, you've had bad experiences like this, and it's like a cycle for you. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to break out of that cycle. So it continues. And as we said in the beginning of the program, there was a video showing that, when you take drugs, it can lead to depression. It can hurt your family members. And maybe you see the hurt in your family members, you see the hurt with your friends who care for you, and maybe you're zoned out, you don't care. you know, everyone is against you. And inside, you know, that's not right. You know that you want the help. So I'm inviting you to give us a call and stay tuned, because you're going to hear the rest of Rene's story. So, Rene, you said that things got worse. You stopped. How long? Why did you stop, and how long for?
That night that I just explained about, when I'd lost complete control, it scared me. And I didn't like how I felt. Days after, I was still like reaping the worst of it. I was still getting the headaches, and I was like, I'm not smoking again. So I stopped for, I think, 3 years. Just like I threw away my stash. I was just like, I'm not smoking. And then as recent of last year, I started smoking again.
Why did you get back into it?
I was going through a really bad time in my life. I was really depressed. I can say I was depressed now, because at first I didn't think I was depressed. I thought I was okay. I was going through a lot of financial difficulties. I became a mother. I was struggling and having a balance. I decided to do 3 jobs whilst studying full-time at university and being a mother. So everything was on my plate that was getting a lot. I was having problems with my daughter's father. And I just...
Was this your first boyfriend, or was it someone else?
This is somebody else. We had been together for 7 years. It would have been 7 years this September. And we were just having a lot of arguments. I just felt really alone, like nobody understood what I was going through. And like, because my mum had her own issues, I didn't want to put my issues on it as well. So a lot of it, my mum didn't even know I was smoking. And it was just me and myself. And I was like, I was struggling to get up each morning. I was struggling to go to work. I was struggling to be a mother. I was struggling in all areas. I knew I wanted progress. I knew I wanted out, but I didn't know how to get out. Then one thing led to another. I started smoking again.
Really?
And this time was different, because I had my own dealer on my doorstep. So if I literally wanted to get a spliff or something, I had easy access to it. It wasn't, oh, my ex-boyfriend was giving it to me. It was literally right there in front of me.
You mean a neighbour?
A neighbour, yeah. Right. So started 1, again, came into 3, and then it progressed. I was having like a spliff every 3 hours or something. I couldn't go to work without being like charged. And at first...
Would you smoke at work, in your break, during work or something like that?
No. I have done, but I didn't make it a regular thing because of my reactions to it at times.
So, just to cut you, even though you had that bad reaction, you went back to it.
Yeah.
You were saying you're smoking it every 3 hours a day? Roughly?
More or less, 3, 4.
Didn't you think that you could have another episode, another attack, as you did?
I thought I was being smart, to be honest with you. It wasn't, if you have a spliff, it wasn't as big as I potentially had it a couple of years ago. It would be like little small ones. Or even if it was, if I had a normal spliff, during my day, it would be like I'd have 2 tokes, so 2 pulls of it during the day. I wouldn't actually have the whole spliff.
So it's 2 puffs or whatever it is?
Yeah, 2 puffs a day.
Take it out.
I'd probably go in my car, have a quick smoke on my lunch break, and then go back in. And probably the 1 spliff would do my hours at work. And then in the evening, I'd go and have a whole spliff to myself.
And your persona, I mean, guys, you know, when young guys, they'll think, you know, I'm here. I've seen some guys in their car with a spliff in their mouth, and they're like, they think they're cool, they think they're hard, right? As a female,
it's disgusting.
At that time, what did you think? Did you think you were strong, you were powerful? What did you think?
No, I was embarrassed. So I didn't like to be seen smoking. Cigarettes I didn't mind because everybody smoked a cigarette. You didn't have to be addicted to weed to have a cigarette. So cigarette, I didn't mind doing it in public, but if I was smoking a spliff, I'd be embarrassed because it's not a good look. I wouldn't want my daughter to be in the car smoking a spliff. And I now look at things like that, like just as a bypasser, like you're affecting somebody else regardless of whether you like it or not.
Now you said you had a daughter at this time.
Yes.
Were you smoking around her, in her presence?
No. That's like, I thought I was helping myself by smoking outside my house.
Right.
Or if she wasn't in the house, I'd smoke in my bedroom. Apart from that, she wasn't around. I wouldn't allow myself to get that far. And at the beginning, when I started smoking, I thought, oh my days, I'm able to think clearly now. I know I started being able to plan things again and get myself back on track, because it gave you the illusion at the beginning that you're thinking clearly, you've got time becomes slow. And I was able to start planning, and I was like, oh, I'm on a good thing. Let me just go have another spliff so I can plan my day for the next day.
Yeah.
And then it just went downhill. Everything just started to go slow. I started to be fatigued.
Okay, you're going to hear the rest of her story after the break, all right? And how Rene got the help she did to beat her drug addiction. We'll see after this.
It seems that people who are married and having problems, they only see two options. Either we're going to live in this miserable marriage for the rest of our lives, or we'll separate. So they only see two options. Hey, there's a third option. How about you focusing on solving the problems?
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight our topic is drug addiction. So next I'm going to show you a short video that's taken from a documentary by Russell Brand, and it's called Addiction to Recovery.
This is a film about drugs, about taking drugs and getting off drugs. Nowadays, I don't drink or take drugs. Remember that fact.
You weren't taking drugs because it was fun or something?
What it was more about for me was taking drugs because it was basically... I didn't have like I said, I didn't have a family, did I? I was on my own. I was on my own, and the drug was there for me. That drug was there for me when I was down. That drug was there for me when I had no food in my kitchen. That drug was there for me when I had nothing to wash my clothes with. So, you know what, if I was depressed, I'd do some drugs.
Unquestionably, addiction has got something to do with the brain. Most people take drugs. Almost everyone in this country drinks alcohol at some point in their life, but only 10% get addicted. And that 10% are different, and they're different because their brain is different.
This very spot was where I sat when I, after 12 weeks, I was graduated. I was terrified of leaving, of going back to London. So grateful and happy, and overwhelmed by what, because it was, for me, when you're a drug addict, the idea of not taking drugs is inconceivable. But it's such a profound spiritual change that takes place because you're starting to integrate as a human being. All these things that you're not dealing with, initially come to the surface and it's terrifying and unsettling and awful. But once, it's the beginning of a lifelong journey of doing things differently.
If what we're trying to do is help people stop using drink, drugs, you need to treat them decently, you need to treat them with respect, you need to treat them as people, you need to help people become part of the community, to become because they've come from our community. The reasons people get into drink and drug use are complicated, and it's too easy to say these people are criminals, they're dirty, they're part of the community that we live in. And our approach is, if you're part of our community, we'll work with you to help, to help you become fuller parts of the community.
That's a brilliant way of thinking. Al, what's your part in this caper?
I'm a hazard to my community, really, when I'm out there.
As soon as I see you, I thought, hello, here's a hazard to his community, this bloke. How long was you a drug addict for?
About 35 years.
Oh, well, you're committed then.
Yeah, yeah.
During that 35-year period, how were you funding your drug use? Clearly, you had a good job in the city.
Okay. I was a street bum for many years and flitted through phases of selling drugs as well, which I thought I was a bit of a gangster.
I've got this philosophy that, you know, users belong in treatment, dealers belong in prison. If we can understand that addiction is a physiological issue, not necessarily one that is going to be solved by people being locked up in prison, then we can stop them committing the offences that they should be locked up in prison for.
We can do things differently in policing and prisons that save money and lives. Brilliant.
So, you see there, Russell Brand, who used to be a drug addict, right? He's beaten it, and he's trying to help other people as well. And maybe you are trying to beat it, but you don't know what to do. So we're going to be praying for you at the end of the program. So back to Rene's story. Rene, you said you tried to did you try to find any help yourself in beating it?
No, I didn't, because at that moment of time, I thought I was helping myself. To forget all the stress that I was going through, to make myself numb. I thought it was giving me that chill time, that cool time that everybody would
Did you think
want.
you could stop at any time?
Yes. I had that understanding, oh, I could stop tomorrow if I didn't want to carry on. And then tomorrow come and I'm like, oh, do you know what? Work got under my skin today, let me just have one. Oh, I got to do my daughter's homework. So
it's like that guy said in a video, right? When I didn't have any washing up powder, I'll go to drugs. There's no food in the fridge, I'll go to drugs. So that was the escape route for you.
That was my switch
off.
It was my switch off button. It was literally, let me just switch off the light for reality that's going on around me and just go in my own zone. That was my zone.
Tell us how you overcame the problem.
Well, one of my friends invited me to a church, and she came because I was having family problems. It was nothing. And then when she came to my house, she realised that I have smoking 2 spliffs at the time. So she's just like, come.
So while she was at your house, you smoked 2 spliffs?
Yes, because I was very private with it, because I was very embarrassed with the fact that I was so addicted to it. So nobody knew.
Right.
So she was just like, how much do you smoke? And I was like, a lot. So she realised that it was an undergoing problem as well. So she invited me to a church, and the first service that I went to, I heard a testimony, and it was literally about someone smoking and just had enough. They didn't want to be dependent.
Do you think it was staged? Because you went there, and the first testimony you heard was someone who had an addiction to something.
I didn't think it was staged, but I definitely thought it was something for me. Like, I thought it was definitely aimed at me.
Right.
And
so something supernatural, right?
Literally, the words is so undescribable. I sat down, and after 5 minutes, I was like, okay, someone talking to me. Like, I probably had to look around, and the message was just so strong that you can't, it's not okay to be addicted. Like, the reality that we live in, and the areas that we live in, think it's acceptable to just smoke a spliff like it's nothing, and it's actually a problem. So I sat down, I was like, okay, I've heard what I needed to hear. I'm not going to smoke.
If this person can change,
so can I.
You can change as well.
If they can change, and now they are an actual inspiration, I can be that to somebody else. And more importantly, I can do that for myself and my daughter. That was my motivation.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to be that person no more. There was a time that I didn't see my daughter for a whole week. I was living in the same house. I picked her up from nursery, came in the house, and her dad dealt with her. I was in my room. And I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be that low depression to the point I didn't want to speak to anybody. So after that service, I was like, I got help. I was speaking to a lady, and I made that decision there and then. I went to a Friday service. I made that decision there and then that I'm not smoking at all. And although some people just like, get yourself off it gradually, I was like, no, I made that decision there and then.
Well, you see, you stopped for a period of time before.
Yeah.
So you were able to do it.
Yep.
But then when problems came around, you went back to it.
Yeah.
But this time it was like, this is it. I
This is
can't
it.
do this anymore.
Definitely.
So I think the trigger was in your mind, it's over now.
Yes.
And you got what you didn't get before, which was some sort of
Help.
advice and counselling.
Talking to someone to just, if I needed to call them at 2 o'clock in the morning, I could call them at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had that person with me. And it's when you start to break down a situation and establish why you need to stop. When I stopped 3 years ago, I didn't think it was wrong. I just didn't like the effect that I had when I lost my mind. This time, it's an understanding how it's wrong, why it's wrong. And we broke it down, and I'm a very visual person. And the lady that I was speaking to put it down to paper, like, this is you in a box. You need to be in this box, owning this box. But you can't allow the drugs to dictate what you're going to do for the next day. You can't allow the drugs to dictate how you're going to feel, how you're going to react to a situation. So that one-to-one help that I had allowed me to, where I wanted to smoke, I did something else. I diverted my attention.
So she partnered up with you. Look, I'm here for you. Did she have was it a she? A female,
Yes.
Did she have an addiction herself?
No, she didn't.
She didn't.
She just wanted the best for me. Automatically, the service finished, and she's like, introduced herself to me, and
right,
that was it.
This was an usher in the church or something?
Yes,
an assistant or
assistant.
something, yeah. So how long was it until you completely stopped? Was there an experience that tested you and then you kind of beat that test?
I've been tested a couple of times. I've been going to church coming up to a year now, and I've been tested 3 times.
Right.
The first time and the second time I failed. I came into temptation, but the moment I did, I picked up my phone to my assistant that I got to speak to, and she's just like, keep on going again. The third time I've passed. Like, I can be around people that smoke and not have the urge to want to smoke. Don't get me wrong, the thoughts still come. It will come to everybody who's ever gone down the route of an addiction. Just like, oh, my day's dragging on, let me have a smoke. But no, I don't want to smoke. I know where it's going to lead me. So I have passed my test.
You've beaten it.
And I will continue beating it because I know it's not.
Are you helping
part of
other
me.
people as well?
Yes, if I know, like, I know quite a few people that do smoke, and it's a progress. Some people smoke longer than me. Some people will need to, like, lessen their dose during the day. Not everybody can just stop, like, straight away. However, if I see somebody that is potentially going down the same route as me, no, come on, let's try and bring that back before you get as far as I got.
What's Rene doing today with her life?
Rene is moving forward, and I know it's a bit of a cliche to say moving forward. I'm not dependent. I am a good mother to my daughter. I am very hands-on with my daughter. I am working towards my dreams again. I had dreams of wanting to open a youth group, working with young people, because I have a lot to offer. I've been through a lot. So I'm getting to do that on a daily basis. I am becoming a woman. I'm 24, I'm turning 25, and I'm becoming a woman. I've changed so much in my attitude, in my deliverance. I used to be quite ghetto, and now it's betraying. I'm starting to blossom. I'm happy. I'm not dependent. I'm not paranoid anymore, and I'm moving forward. I can actually, it's one step at a time, but I've gone over that hurdle, and I've got more hurdles to come, but I'm ready for it. I have that drive and determination to move forward, whereas before I didn't.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
And it's something that you said, right, that many drug addicts, anyone with an addiction to something, when they try to go cold turkey or try to, lessen it, there may be slip-ups. Chances are there will be slip-ups, but it doesn't mean that's the end of everything, right? Some people go back and smoke and say, I'm not bothered anymore, I can't take this anymore. But you got on the phone, you spoke to that assistant, and they supported you and helped you, right? And then you continued again. So I know some people can go cold turkey, others need to lessen the dose, as you said, but as long as you are on the right track, you know what you have to do, and with the help of prayer, with someone, a buddy by your side, a support by your side, You can beat this. So we're going to go for a break now. We'll be back. We'll be talking about the greatest love event of the year, and we'll be praying for you who may have an addiction or you know someone with an addiction. We'll see you after this.
From the moment I walked in, I felt different. It's about me, how I felt.
Just the whole environment, the whole positivity in the place, I realised that my life could change from then on.
I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know more. There I learned that there were roots to the problems that I had. And I learned how to tackle the roots of those problems.
If I keep going and listening and putting into place what's been said, then my life will always be happy.
You just need to come and hear for yourself. It's a personal thing.
This year's Love School is graduating to the next level of understanding how to hold on to a relationship. But maybe you've been asking, can the Love School really be for you? Let's find out. I was there last time. Do I need to go again? Is it for me? Yes, it is for you. No one is ready for a practical test just after one driving lesson. Nor does anyone qualify for a degree by attending only one class. And the same is with love. The road to a successful relationship is an ongoing journey. So don't miss out on the second class.
We hope that you will begin to start thinking differently from today on and investing in your love life, not only for today, but every day.
Come along for a Sunday afternoon of entertainment and new ideas at the SSE Arena in Wembley on the 28th of September at 2 p.m. No matter what your love status, the Love School really is for you. Tickets are on sale now and seats are selling fast. Pick up yours at your local UCKG branch. Call us on 020 7686 6050 or visit us online at theloveschoolevent.com.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, before the break, I mentioned about one of the greatest events of the year. It's taking place this Sunday, 28th of September at the SSE Arena, and it's called the Love School event. There are schools for all kinds of things, right? There are driving schools, there are schools for, I don't know, classes, dance classes, right? Ballet. There are lots of schools to teach you various subjects, but there's never ever been a school for love. Not that I know of anyway. But the Love School will teach you how to be successful, how to maintain a good relationship or a good marriage that you have. And it's taking place this Sunday. And it's the second year running that we're going to have the Love School event. It is a ticketed event. It's at the SSE Wembley Arena. And I want to invite you to get your tickets. They are running out fast, but you still have some available. You can order your tickets online at theloveschoolevent.com, or you can give our ticket line number, or their ticket line number called the Love School ticket line number, a call on 0207 686 6050, and you can get tickets there. So you want to learn how to not repeat the same mistakes as maybe you did before. Maybe you are single and you want to know, as I spoke to someone 2 days ago, she's attending this event and she said, look, I want to learn I don't want to make any mistakes. And she hasn't had a boyfriend before. She's 24 years old, I think. And she said, look, I want to get it right. I don't want to make mistakes like my friends have done. So if you're in that case, that situation, it's for you. It's for you that are dating and you want to know what to look out for while dating, or to make sure that this person is the right one. If you are married and you're going through problems or things are well, it's for you. It's for you who are divorced or widowed. And one of the myths, we're going to dispel one of the love myths right now. And maybe this is your case. Have a look at this.
I've got 3 children and single. Is that it for me?
In a short answer, no, it's not for you. Just because you have kids and you are single, it doesn't mean your love life is over. Doesn't mean your world has come to an end when it comes to relationships. Because maybe there is a man or woman out there who also has 3 kids and is single like you. And you two could meet up. There are so many examples I can give to you of people who had this myth, this idea that because I have kids, that's it for me. And they went along to the love school or something similar, and they learned how to deal with that idea in their head, that there is actually someone out there for me. That may be someone who doesn't have kids, and they will bring to this relationship the love for me and also bring up my kids as his or her own. And there are countless examples of this. And so one of the myths, this is a myth because you can be happy. It all starts here in your head. What do you think, Victoria?
I think that's exactly right. I mean, the number of people that we've had on this show just since I've been here, which I think's been about 6 weeks now, the amount of people who have had children, who are now single, who've got divorced, and they always say that they have found love again. So it's definitely not it for you. Absolutely.
Exactly. They found love again. Maybe their choices that they made were not the right ones in the beginning, but they learnt. That's what a school is about. When we go to school, we didn't know how to count. We didn't know algebra. We didn't know physics, right? Or geography, where the countries were. We didn't know those things, but the school taught us those things, which helped us later on in life. And just because it's love, just because you're free to do whatever you want, it doesn't mean that you know everything. There are some people that they think just because I grew up in church, I go to church, I know how to say the Lord's Prayer, I was taught to pray before I go to sleep, before I eat my food, that they think that they know God. But a majority of people don't know God just because of what they've learned. There has to be that personal experience. And so at the love school, you're going to have this personal experience. I mean, you're going to learn something, you're going to hear there, you're going to take on board with you, and you can apply it in your life. I certainly learned from last year's event, and it's helped me. It's valuable, right? It's precious information that you won't get anywhere else. You won't even get it no matter if you are a Romeo, right? If you call yourself a gigolo, whatever you call yourself, no matter how many relationships you've had, how many notches you have on your bedpost, you're not going to get the experience that you get at the love school. So this is my invitation. If you like to come along this Sunday, tickets are available, as I said, at theloveschoolevent.com, or call the Love School helpline on 0207 686 6050. All right? So we're going to go now for the prayer. You that say to yourself, I am addicted. I have an addiction to a form of drug. It may not be Rene's drug, skunk or weed. It could be anything. It could be a pill. It could be, you know, prescription drugs. It could be something else, a drug. And you want to be free from that. You don't want to live your life depending on that drug to get you by or to forget your problems. We're going to have a glass of water. Get your glass of water ready, because this glass of water will be like a cleansing for you, right? Maybe you don't have that self-will. I don't have the will to break free from that addiction. Well, I have the faith that this glass of water, when you drink it, it's going to give you that inner strength to break free from it and purify you. Let's go for the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer concerning your financial life, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my God, I pray now for all the viewers who are taking part in this prayer, and they can relate to Rene's story. Someone who was addicted, actually he started off as a bit of fun, smoking weed. But then as time went by, she couldn't break that cycle, even though she tried. But when problems came up again, as they do in life, she returned to it. And maybe this person wants to break free from that addiction to a cigarette, to weed, that addiction to that pill, prescription drugs, cocaine, heroin, meth, whatever drug they are using, and they don't have the willpower, they don't have the strength, they don't have the people around them, as Rene did, to support her. So God, you be the support now. And through this glass of water, I ask you to bless it, that when this person will drink this water, that you will cleanse them from all the effects of this drug abuse, all the effects this drug has had on their body. And I pray as well that you give them the willpower to change, to overcome this drug addiction once and for all. So I bless this glass of water now. Drink it now and be free from all the desires, from all the temptations, and receive the strength to say no in the name of Jesus Christ. So I believe you are free now. I want to leave the last words with Rene. Hello. You still praying there?
I was in my element. Yes, I was.
So what would you say, if you want to look in that camera, what would you say to someone in your position, male or female, who is going through a drug addiction? What would you say to them?
There's always help out there. Whether you look to your left, to your right, there's always somebody that is willing to help you, as somebody has helped me. It is never too late to ask for help. Pride, just put it aside and say, I need help to move forward, and fight. If you know that you want it, if you want to be free of these handcuffs around you, fight for it, because the only person that will free yourself is yourself, and you can get as much support, but you need to keep on pushing forward.
Thank you very much. If you want help, then the number is available on your screen. There will be a team of pastors ready to take your call now, to offer you the advice, to forward you on to organizations and sessions that can help you with drug addiction. And if you want an extra prayer for someone else, then they'll be able to pray for you. Until the next time, have a wonderful night. God bless you.